Hey, yo, what's good, YouTube? This is your boy, Everyday Tech. It's been a minute. I had to take a little break, but I'm glad I did. Because early on, I shot a video talking about one of the most anticipated smartwatches that came out this year, and I'm glad I took my time with this review. Because at first, I had a good amount of thoughts, but the more I used this product, the better it seemed, and I am talking about Google's first generation Pixel Watch. I gotta say, it surprised me. I didn't expect the experience I had, and I think a lot of reviewers didn't give it enough time to get a clear understanding of how this product works. Now, I'm not, down to any of them. I think they're great creators out there, but when you're rushing to review something, I think you can miss some things. So, let's dive in, and I'm gonna tell you guys about my experience with Google's first generation Pixel Watch. Alright, so first thing first, how do I use my smartwatch? The way I use my smartwatch, I think, was perfectly designed for this. And at the beginning of my review period, I didn't realize that. You see, I was using the watch in a way that I don't normally use smartwatches. Let me explain. So for me, a smartwatch is more of a lifestyle product. I want it to be a companion to my phone. I don't need it as my main device. I don't need it as something that will allow me to leave my phone at home while I go out and run errands with only my watch. I think that does not benefit me personally. And what I've seen in a lot of reviews and a lot of, hot takes on Twitter has been that this is a bit of a failure. Not necessarily a failure in the sense of it being a bad product, but just not keeping up with the standards of today's watches. That's kind of what I went in expecting. I didn't expect to like this product. I didn't expect to really keep it. I fully expected to return this and jump to the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, which is still an amazing watch. And at the end of this, I will tell you which one I think is the better option and why and for who. That's a big part of my review. For who? You see, the Pixel Watch is a lifestyle watch. You can see it in its design. It's very sleek. It has this pebble-like look to it, rounded corners. Yeah, the bezel is technically kind of big, but when you compare it to a Galaxy Watch 5 or even earlier generations of the Apple Watch, it's not that much different. The problem comes in the fact that with this, really sleek design, it's curved so it looks larger than most on paper, but in reality, it's the same size. The design is very simplistic and really fits in with whatever outfit you choose to wear, especially if you start changing the bands around. It's not designed to be this big standout operating system like, let's say, the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch is designed for you to interact with it almost as if it's a phone in itself. The big squared off design on the Apple Watch is designed so you could maneuver it, go access things, which is really great. It's awesome, but I'm not a fan of square watches. This one is designed more for the everyday, let me glance at it, let me check something, let me change my lights on my home, let me quickly send out a text message or respond to a text message, let me check my fitness. It's not designed for you to interact with for a long time. It is a lifestyle piece. It's jewelry. A lot of smartwatches are trying to be smartwatches. This is trying to be a smart piece of jewelry. And I think a lot of reviewers didn't realize that. Also note that reviewers were looking at this, and I'm putting myself in the category as well, after taking a peek at the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro and the Apple Watch Ultra. Now, it's a very key thing in the names of those devices. You have the Watch 5 Pro and the Apple Watch Ultra. They're not everyday lifestyle watches. They are, in fact, professional and ultra design watches. They're designed for people doing out of the ordinary things. The Apple Watch in itself is designed for people who are very adventurous and outdoorsy, from hiking to mountain climbing to deep diving. That's why it has a 3-day battery life as well as radar or satellite. The Watch 5 Pro is the Pro model, which is why it has 3-day battery life and is so large. It is designed for the person who wants their watch to do everything. This is designed for the person who's running errands, going to the store, maybe even just, lounging around the house. Very simplistic usage. What I've noticed a lot of is people comparing this to the Ultras or the Pros and not the watches that it actually competes with, such as the Apple Watch SE or the Series 8. When you compare it to those watches, you'll notice they share a lot in common. Back to the design. They're both very sleek. They're both very simplistic and designed to fit with whatever outfit or situation you are going to. With that being said, I found myself really enjoying the design, although I have a few concerns. Number one, it is a bit small. Now, I expected it to be a bigger deal for me, and over time I've grew to actually like the smaller size for a couple of reasons. One, it's very lightweight, and it's one of the few watches I actually feel comfortable with sleeping. I don't like sleeping with smartwatches. Don't really feel this one. Two, it actually makes me not want to interact with the watch too much, in a good way. I don't find myself constantly scrolling through the app store or looking through my text messages and trying to have whole conversations. It's been used more as an at-a-glance product, and in my usage, I don't want my technology to distract me much more than my phone. There's a reason I have a smartwatch, and it's because I don't want to be on my phone too much. Well, what's the point if I'm always looking at a big bright screen as if it's my phone? That would be counterproductive, and I think Google nailed it, but it's still very small, and I would like to see a bigger option. Some of us prefer bigger watches and will not be distracted. I think because it's the Gen 1 product, Google didn't release it, so hopefully Gen 2 has a 45 millimeter option. Another thing I feel reviewers didn't give enough time or respect to is actually the battery life. Yeah, I know. It's been the hot topic, the biggest talking point. That battery life is bad. Well, it's not bad. In actuality, pretty average. Surprisingly average, if that makes sense. Especially when I take into effect that the first 3 days I've had with this watch, I was not impressed with the battery life. That's why I was so prepared to return it. I just need to watch last me all day. I don't care about 2 days. I can charge at night. For the first 3 days, actually, I would say closer to the first week, the battery life was pretty sketchy. I would get to the end of the day, but I'd be just making it. After that week, I don't know if it was an update or Google's really good at learning your behaviors, the adaptive battery, it became very good. See, the biggest thing that confused me when this watch was announced is Google said 24-hour battery life, and everyone flipped their lid and was acting like Google was doing some crazy, terrible thing. Why only 24 hours? Well, the Apple Watch was only 18 hours, so who cares? After using it for a week, I definitely get 24 plus hours. At first, when I would do sleep tracking, I would lose about 20 to 25% battery. Now I lose maybe 10, 15 on a bad day, usually around 10% battery. I generally end my day and I wake up around 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning and go to bed around 11 o'clock to 1, depending on how responsible I'm being. But by the time I go to bed, I usually have anywhere between 40 to 20% battery, depending on how heavy I use it. Now, one of my favorite things about the battery on this watch, yes, there is a favorite thing, is how fast it charges. I'll go in the shower for 10 minutes, come out, and I jumped up like 30% in my battery. It's astonishing. It's very amazing and really negates the battery concerns I've had because I know if I throw it on a charger for 10 minutes, I'm going to get a good amount of juice. That was my biggest concern, and I don't even think about it. For instance, I've been at work since I think I left the house roughly 8 o'clock. I've been up at 7. It is now 8 o'clock, so almost a full 12 hours. And I'm 63%. Oh, I'm sorry. I am 54%. Sorry, looked at the wrong battery. That means I have a whole nother 12 hours. That matches that 24-hour battery life that Google mentioned. 24 hours on a watch of this size, it's actually kind of impressive, especially when you add in how fast it charges. And last, I will say the processor. We were very concerned because this is a 4-year-old processor. Now, this stopped being a concern of mine early on because I had to do a little bit of research and I realized something. Smartwatch processors and chipsets do not evolve or advance the same way smartphone chips and processors do. In fact, there is usually a couple years of using the same processor. That is not unheard of. And even when they did change, it was very minute changes, like maybe an extra gig of RAM or something. Once I found they were doing this 4-year-old processor with their own code processor, I was not too worried, but I still wanted to check it out. And I'll have to say, dude, this watch is smooth. It's quick, it's snappy. I maybe noticed a tiny bit of lag, but that's few and far between. Maybe if I have a lot of stuff open. Apps run very well on it. The design seems to play a big part in how it works. Like there's so much black on the watch and the interface that everything just kind of flows very well. It's and the animations are really good. They did a really good job of making the processor, the UI, and the design work together to give you a very smooth, seamless experience. It's become one of my favorites. And I've never been one of those guys that had a problem with Wear OS. And this is the best version of Wear OS I've tried. I like it a lot. I can't wait to see how it evolves. Now, I don't want to keep on rambling, but the last part is people have said changing a watch band is hard. Dude, I change my watch band every day. It's easy. I think it takes a bit getting used to, and we only had those expensive Google watch bands, but now there's a lot on Amazon and other third-party areas that we can start seeing how easy it actually is. You hold a button, swipe it, good to go. It's simple. I was supposed to have my adapter for a regular 20mm watch band, but Amazon had some problem with shipping, so later on I'll be able to show you guys that adapter. But all in all, my experience with this thing in my everyday life has been surprising. Once again, like I said, I was so ready to return this. I didn't expect to like it the way I did. And I think we did ourselves a disservice by only reviewing it for a week, because it really took about maybe a month for these updates to start making it so much better. Even the Fitbit integration was improved. Also, speaking of Fitbit, anyone who complains about you having to pay for premium is a hypocrite, because Apple has their premium service for the same cost. And just like the Apple Watch, you can use every must-have feature on Google's Fitbit without paying that $10. So not a problem. Reviewers just kind of wanted something negative, I think. I expected that to be a negative as well. Once again, I'm not just saying they're all wrong. I've expected these things, and because I gave it extra time, it's become one of my favorite smartwatches. I still think that for the price, there's better options, and that is the Galaxy Watch 5. Probably even the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. What those offer at the same price as this, well, they're a little bit cheaper, is better battery life, a more in-tuned or more refined and polished UI, because they've been doing it for so long, and a slightly better build. You see, I've had some weird things. I had to pick out some, it looked like loose glue in between the seams, but that was the biggest issue I've had. I've actually bashed this against the wall, and there's still no cracks on mine, and I'm pretty bad with watches. I got gorilla arms, dude, and I swing them around, and I hit everything, and this surprisingly took a beating despite its round corners. But if you look at the Galaxy Watch, it is cheaper, has a more refined design, more watch band accessories, and just feels a bit more mature. Now, this is a Gen 1, and for a Gen 1 product, I think they did a fantastic job. With that being said, it makes me so excited to see what they do with Gen 2. I have high hopes. Till then, I am going to be wearing this, because I didn't find the need to return it like I thought I would. If you decide to pick one up, don't go after 3 days. Give it some time, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The experience, just like the Pixels, just feels very easy and comfortable, and I've been happy. So that's been my experience. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys want to try one out, and also tell me what you want to see in the Pixel Watch 2 whenever Google decides to drop it. But until then, thanks for letting me talk about this tech stuff. I'll catch you next time. Peace.